I have discovered 3 specific hairstyles that women over 40 absolutely love. And I'm going to go ahead and reveal those to you today. Sound good? Yeah, let's definitely do that. All right, let's back up. Can we address the elephant in the room question? Yes, I get it. If you're new to me, you're looking at me like, dude, you're a guy. How do you know what women want? And I would say that's a fair question. So I've been doing hair since 1995. And in that over quarter century, for whatever reason, my clientele has been 85% female and over 90% over 40 years old. And so I've discovered 3 specific hairstyles that this age range tends to absolutely love. And so those are the ones that I'm going to share with you today. And on a side note, just to add to this, I married this woman right here, which, let's just be honest, I married up. Now the funny thing is, contrary to popular belief, I don't dictate her hairstyle at all. I have 100% let her determine what she wants to do and what she feels best in, and then I'm just here to create that hairstyle for her. That's it. And oddly enough, since I've been with her, she has picked 2 of the 3 hairstyles I'm about to share with you to have on her own hair. I don't think that's a coincidence, and I'm not saying that she's over 40, but she may be over 40. She might be. She's not, but she, okay. Style number 1? Okay, number 1 is the long layered cut. Now, first of all, before we even get into the rest of describing this one or the other 2, it is important that you understand that I would never tell you to go to your stylist and say, I want this named quote unquote haircut. Names run different to all different stylists. They might not know what you're talking about, or worse yet, they might think they know what you're talking about, and it might be something very different, and you end up with something that doesn't look anything like what you were imagining. So that's a whole other topic, but just ignore the names and work with the actual visual of the style. Now, the long layered haircut is a really solid option, and the reason people love it is because the layers allow for a lot of movement and texture, but they also take a lot of the bulk out of the bottom. Many times on longer hair shapes, the heaviness of one length can get very heavy at the top and full at the bottom, and it creates a triangular shape that brings your eye down. But it also limits you from the ability many times, regardless of your texture, to create a solid amount of volume in the crown or in the top where many times we want it. And overall, it just doesn't hold the shape as well as something like a layered shape will. Now, many of you might be thinking, my hair is too thin and fine, I can never do layers. I promise you, you can. I have made multiple videos about how you layer hair appropriately so that you don't make thin hair look thinner. Many times, thinner hair, once we layer it, can actually look far fuller and thicker because of the amount of volume that can be created through those layers. So these shapes look fantastic up, they look fantastic down. The softness in the front really opens up the face, allows you to pull your hair back yet still have some softness around the cheeks. If you want to accentuate some cheek structure or bring out the eyes, they work incredible straight, they work incredible curly or wavy. Now moving to 2, and what you're gonna notice here is as we move through these, we're going into different length ranges. So no matter if you like short hair or long hair, I got you covered. Okay, number 2 is a huge fan favorite, and it is a layered bob. 2 things, let me back up. Notice that I did not say bob, I said layered bob. There is a difference. The layers play a huge role in why this is so effective and why women over 40 love this. Now, first of all, if you haven't noticed, there has never been a decade that bob shapes, since the beginning of bob shapes, have not been in style. There is always some form of a bob that is very current. And the reason for that is because it's an extremely timeless look. So why is the layering so important on this? Layering the bob also combats the same concerns of the longer shape that we just talked about. Especially with bob shapes, bringing that length up into a bob range, which would be between the collarbone and up around the chin area, that length of hair is just light enough to get fuller at the bottom, but many times with many textures, if it's one length, not quite light enough to get volume up in the top. So what you end up with is even more pronounced triangle that even brings more of that eye down the shape. This is a fundamental aspect of why this layering is so important. Once you layer a bob, it takes the bulk out of the sides simply because there isn't enough hair down there to get too full. Now again, back to the whole idea of my hair is too fine, I can't have a layered bob. Maybe you've even had a bob before that had this little thinness on the sides. That is not the layering, that is the way that the layering is done. I promise you, I've done a whole series about how to cut bob shapes to show you how to avoid that concern. I'll go ahead and link all these videos in the description for you so that you can watch them, but you can have layers and still have a thick bob line. And those layers are gonna do an incredible job of breaking up that shape more, lifting that volume up where we want that volume, also taking the volume away from where we don't want the volume. The best part, I think personally, of a bob is that it really does a good job of being able to be dressed up or down depending on how you dress. If you want to go out with your friends, have a fun night, dress a little bit edgier and more fun, you can style your bob and get a really edgy, cool look, simply because bobs follow the clothing. But then at the same time, when you head off to work and you need it to be a little bit more polished, guess what? Bobs look polished because your clothing changed. They're awesome like that, and this is a large reason why they're so timeless and they never go out of style. So yes, number 2, a bob shape. Okay, number 3 is actually kind of a combination of a few different styles. Many people are gonna have different names for this. Some people will call it a pixie bob. Some people will call it a pixie in general. Some people will call it a just short haircut. This is part of the reason I say do not focus on the name. The key to this length range, regardless of how short you go, is where the volume sets and how the sides are cut. Here's the key, and this is why women over 40 love this cut. If you're the type that's inclined to go shorter, having a little bit of extra length on top and having it a little bit more tapered on the sides, and not just tapered down, but actually tapered in. This alone, regardless of how long it is, makes a massive difference in where volume sits. It really forces the volume to sit right in this temple area, and by creating that volume in the temple, you're really accentuating more cheek structure and you're lifting the face up a lot more. Now, whether or not you have really short sides or whether or not you have a little bit of length on the sides, just making sure that the sides taper down or angle down into the face, that overall balance of that shape changes everything. Now, the best part about this is when you do this right, not only does it create a good shape when you style it, but many times it's creating a good shape so even when you don't style it, the shape is still there. It may not be quite as large or full or as voluminous as you might want, but the volume will still be in the right areas. And that, my friends, is absolutely key. So those are 3 hairstyles that I have learned over the past quarter century of doing hair that women over 40 absolutely love. And I like them as well. So yes, that too. But the question is, what do you think of them? Do you like those styles? Do you currently have one of those styles? Or do you have another style that you like even more? Well, let me know, comment below. Otherwise, if you want to see a video where I actually break down those individual styles, how to style them or how to have them cut, or maybe how to talk to stylists about them, comment below and let me know. And for now, I'm gonna probably go edit this video. I don't know. I want to say that I'm gonna do something cool, but realistically, I'm not. No, I'm just gonna go edit this. So yeah, okay. Well, bye. See you later.